Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Brews. I'm your host, Commander Claw, and today I'm bringing you Aminatou Veal Piercer. Yes, she's from the Duskmourn Precon, and I think she's actually pretty amazing, allowing you to cast enchantment spells pretty much for cheaper. And there actually have some powerful color schemes: blue, black, and white. But if you never played her, I highly recommend it. So these 5 cards that I'm recommending for you are those players that have already played with it. They're trying to look for some like trinkets of information, a little bit of different things to improve maybe their card draw, board wipe, or taking control of a commander game. Just additional cards that you can slide into your slots and remove cards that probably are just redundant. Commander is just a game of just randomization, possibly, and manifesting, or actually, sorry, doing the miracle ability gives you kind of this effect where like cards are these enchantments are just a different feel, right? They're just a different feel when you play them. They are consistent. They're repeatable. They literally take over the game. They're probably the most powerful permanent in the game. So being able to cast them for cheaper and in 3 different colors, Aminatou is a powerful commander. So let's get right into her abilities. If you don't know her, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. If any of this content is relevant to you and you want me to bring more content to you, let's go. Aminatou for 1 white, blue, and a black, 2/4 human wizard legendary creature says, at the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 2. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Then put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest on top of your library in any order. This is awesome. You're controlling what you see and what goes either on the top or bottom of your deck. You're literally able to game plan your next play. Okay, then it says each enchantment card in your hand has miracle. Its miracle cost is equal to its mana cost reduced by 4. You may cast a card for its miracle cost when you draw it for the first card you drew this turn. So essentially, when you surveil, you're going to put the top card that you want to have a miracle cost, and it has to be an enchantment. So this is nice library manipulation. It isn't always like when you play this, you don't always have to put the enchantment that you want up next. Like you can use to manipulate your library to get mana that you need. Like that's extremely powerful. This is just the engine to cast powerful enchantment spells for its miracle cost. Okay, so when I recommend Ertai the Corrupted to you, he's Esper Colors +2, Wizard Legend on a 3/4 body. I need you to hear me out here. You tap 1 blue, sacrifice a creature or an enchantment, counter target spell. This is extremely powerful for a counter spell to just be sitting on the battlefield. And it's counter any target spell. So you have a bunch of creatures. You're going to have creatures in this deck, and they're going to be enchantment creatures also. So it's going to be easy to sack it. I think where it gets really powerful is the death triggers that happen. So you punishing players for playing a powerful spell that you want to counter, then that creature or enchantment goes into the graveyard. That just gives you an additional effect. That's where I think it gets extremely powerful. It's almost a sack outlet, but it's the timing of the sack outlet. It may not be on when you want to, but at the time when an opponent wants to do something, and it's just more punishing because they've used their resources or they plan to sequence plays and they just can't. Ertai the Corrupted. Arcanist out. I want to use this card to look deeper into my deck. Let me explain. It is Azorius colors, so you tap a white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, any combination of those up to 4. It is an artifact creature bird, flying, 3/3 body. When Arcanist Owl enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or enchantment card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is really good just to get through your deck, to see more cards. I know it may not be an instant or a sorcery, and those cards are generally better. but you have an enchantment filled deck. So looking at the top 4 cards of your library and being able to put it into your hand is very efficient. It's also even more efficient because it's a 3/3 flyer, allowing you to block angels coming at you, demons coming at you. Don't underestimate card draw effects that are on creatures. It's literally, in a way, a 2+1. You get a body and a card draw. It may not be as efficient of a card draw compared to instants or sorceries, but having a body slash a blocker to prevent damage is a win-win. Next up, we got Cacophony Unleashed for 7 mana. It is an enchantment, so that means you can miracle cost this. When Cacophony Unleashed enters the battlefield, if you cast it, destroy all non-enchantment creatures. You're probably running enchantment creatures in your Aminatou deck. When Cacophony Unleashed or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control until end of turn, Cacophony Unleashed becomes a legendary 6/6 Nightmare God creature with menace and death touch. It's still an enchantment. So you're playing a bunch of enchantments. After you board wipe, this becomes a 6/6 menace and death touch. Literally, your opponents probably, this is a one-sided board wipe. Your opponents are in trouble. This is a nice 6/6 menace and death touch. They can't put out one creature to block. They need to put out at least 2 creatures to block. And then even then, it has death touch, so they'll be losing both creatures. So this is a nice creature to slap on the battlefield, or it's a nice board wipe that slaps on the battlefield that turns into a creature, and it kind of puts players behind if they do not have enough creatures to balance out blocking after when you go to your attack phase after casting an enchantment. Yes, really good card, 7 mana, play it. Cleansing Meditation for 3 mana is a sorcery from the Torment set. This is a set that I actually started Commander with. Magic with. It says destroy all enchantments. You're like, why would you want to do that? Maybe your opponents have powerful enchantments that you need to get rid of. However, this has threshold. Instead, destroy all enchantments, then return to play all cards in your graveyard destroyed this way. So, this is a one-sided board wipe. You're destroying all enchantments in play. And most likely you have threshold. You are doing surveil, where you put cards in your graveyard. And you're going to destroy all your enchantments too. You have enchantment creatures and you have enchantments. So they will be coming back that same turn because they will be in your graveyard. So this is also good because there's enchantment creatures that have enter the battlefield effects or even death triggers. This is for 3 mana, pretty powerful. So next we got Cantivore. This is the section where enchantment matters. For 3 mana, 1 white, Lurgoyf. Attacking doesn't cause Cantivore to tap. Its power and toughness is equal to the number of enchantment cards in your graveyard. So this is a nice late game creature, even mid game, because you've been loading your graveyard with cards and possibly enchantments. So even on the low end for 3 mana and you have at least 4 enchantments in the graveyard. Oh, sorry, it's all graveyards. Remember when you destroyed all enchantments? Yeah, yeah. So this is going to be pretty big. For 3 mana to make a pretty big creature, that's a win-win. Ethereal Armor for 1 white, enchant creature aura. Enchantment creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control, and has first strike. This is actually in the pre-con, but I feel like it's a nice reminder because there's players who are probably watching this video and they have other enchantment decks, like Zur the Enchanter, and that they could throw this in their deck. They just never thought about it. That's why I threw it in here. Thank you for watching another Breaking Brews episode. This is Aminatou Veil Piercer from the Precon of Duskmourn. Super fun commander, easy to play with. It actually teaches you a lot about library manipulation and playing out of your graveyard. I think that's really good for new players, even beginner players. I mean, new players and beginner players, even intermediate level players, because the graveyard is an extension of your library, and being able to cast stuff from your graveyard is pretty powerful. However, we talk about miracle costs here, so being able to manipulate the top card of your library and casting it for 4 or less, ooh, and enchantments being the most powerful permanent in the game, yes, Aminatou is a problem. Have fun.